Hi, if you found this video today, then you are most likely interested in learning about Medicare Advantage plans. Maybe you're turning 65 or maybe you've been on Medicare for some time and you want to know how to choose the right Medicare Advantage plan for you. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, these next few moments, is the four major differences of Medicare Advantage plans that I need to consider if I'm going to enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan. What are the four things that I need to consider if I want to buy or enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan? Now, I do want to give a high-level just understanding of what Medicare Advantage is. We have Original Medicare, which is parts A and B of Medicare, and if you found this on our YouTube page, then you can go back and find videos of me explaining Medicare's Part A and B, and you can also find videos of me explaining Part C of Medicare, which is what this is. This is Medicare Advantage, which is Part C. This is a replacement plan of Original Medicare. So when you enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan, this is now becoming your primary insurance, and it's going to operate through a private carrier. That is the major difference between Medicare Advantage and Original Medicare. And so that's your major difference between those two things. So what we're going to talk about in this video is the four things that I need to consider if I'm going to enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan. What are the four things I need to consider to choose the right Medicare Advantage plan for me? Now, I don't have a crystal ball today to just look at this and say, hey, this is the right plan for you. What I ultimately suggest is watch this video, but then keep in mind you need to talk to somebody and about your specific situation so that they can put your data in, your information in, so they can find out the right fit for you. There's lots of things that come into play finding the right plan for you, so nothing beats talking to an experienced agent. And if you want to do that, please follow the information in the video description below. We have agents that would love to talk to you right now about these Medicare Advantage options. And there's other options too. Now, Medicare Advantage, the four major things that I need to consider when choosing a Medicare Advantage plan for me, finding the plan that's right for me. The first thing that I need to consider is networks. I need to consider networks. This is very important. This is maybe the number one gripe to a Medicare Advantage plan. When someone enrolls into one, they're not quite sure how the network works. They didn't really take a lot of time researching that, or maybe the agent didn't explain it in full detail to them how the networks work. So that's something that you certainly need to consider. Now, the way these Medicare Advantage plans work is they do have a network, and that means they have a network of doctors that will bill this plan. So if you were to come into a doctor's office in that network, they will bill the plan that you're on. Now, if you are on a Medicare Advantage plan and they are not in that network, if your doctor is not in that network, it is possible that you would have to maybe select a new doctor. You may have to go and get services from a different doctor than what you're used to. So that is the first layer of why this is so important. I have to make sure that my doctors are preferred by a plan, that they prefer the plan that I'm looking at enrolling into, so that I can use this plan with the doctors that I like to use, the doctors of my choosing. So I got to make sure that my doctor's in a network. Now, the good news is that the agents that we have here, again, they are trained and they have the tools that will actually be able to tell you exactly what plans your doctor prefers. So that's something that we can figure out for you. Now, the second layer here is this. We have two types of networks that we see with these plans. And I do have longer videos on our page that you can go and find. We have PPO and HMO. PPO and HMO. These are the two types of networks that we have. And I'm going to start with the HMO because it's the more what you would call traditional version of a network. This is what kind of came around in the beginning. With an HMO, I cannot use a doctor. I can't use my plan at a doctor's office that's not in network, right? So the network here looks something like this, like a circle. This is what it looks like, a circle. And the doctors that I can use are within this circle. Here are my doctors. These are the doctors that I can use. Now, of course, there are doctors outside of this network that exist, but if I'm on an HMO plan, I cannot go outside of this bubble. I cannot go outside of this network to use my plan. If I want to use my plan, if I want the services to be billed and paid by my plan, I have to stay within this network, within this circle of doctors. Cannot go out of the network. The other network option we have is a PPO, and our bubble looks more like this, more like a dotted line, if you will. I still have doctors that are in this network, just like the HMO, and I still have doctors that are outside of this network. The difference is I still have these doctors that are preferred, but I technically can go out of network if I need to with a PPO plan. Now, a lot of Medicare beneficiaries get on a PPO plan because that is a great benefit they like to have. They like to have more extensive. They like to have more extensive options. They like to have more options on doctors that they can use, and so that's why they consider going a PPO plan. That's why they decide to go to a PPO plan, enroll into a PPO plan, and so that's what they do. And the first thing that happens is they go to a doctor outside of the network, expecting the copay to be the same as if the doctor were in network. That is not the case. With these PPO plans, you can go out of network, but the cost of seeing that provider is going to be higher. And a couple examples of that is my primary care, maybe $0 in network. But if I were to go outside of the network, that could be $15. If I want to see a specialist, maybe in the network it's $25, but outside of the network it's $50. So that's something that you need to pay attention to very closely to make sure that your doctors are first in network, but if you are going to use a doctor out of network, that you know how much more you're going to spend because you're seeing somebody out of the plan's network. Now, the second thing that I need to consider is what we call a MOOP. It's what we call a MOOP, which stands for maximum out of pocket. Maximum out of pocket. Now, if you've been on insurance for some time, then you're familiar with this term, maximum out of pocket. You may have heard it called something different, but maximum out of pocket. This is a cap that an insurance plan will have that says, okay, the beneficiary, the insured, you, the person on the insurance, you've met this amount of money out of your pocket. Now the insurance is going to pay everything else past that. And typically, when you're on work coverage, that max out of pocket is something like $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. With these Medicare Advantage plans, what we're seeing is that the max out of pocket, and a lot of times on these HMO plans, is going to be something like, we'll call it $7,200. That's typically what my max out of pocket is. So if I'm enrolled into an HMO plan, then $7,200 is the maximum that I would spend on that plan. If I were enrolled into a PPO, these typically have higher maximum out of pockets because you have more options and they have to offset that a little bit. So my maximum out of pocket may be something like $8,000 for in-network. Now, something you have to keep in mind if you go PPO is that you actually have a combined maximum out of pocket, and that could be $9,500. So if I stay in network at all times, then my maximum out of pocket is $8,000. But if I were to go out of network here and there, then I actually have a combined $9,500 maximum out of pocket. So that's really kind of my true maximum out of pocket, something you need to pay attention to. But why is this important in considering what Medicare Advantage plan is right for you? Well, I need to go with a plan that I feel comfortable with my cap, my stop loss, my maximum out of pocket. If I see a plan that has a $5,000 maximum out of pocket compared to an $8,000 maximum out of pocket, that is something I need to consider. Now, there's some other things that you need to consider too. We're going to keep talking about that, but it is certainly something that needs to be a part of my decision making. Number three here, extra benefits. These plans have extra benefits. That's one of the main sales of these Medicare Advantage plans, is the extra benefits: dental, vision, hearing, over the counter, lots of extra benefits that you get: gym membership reimbursements, Part B premium givebacks, meaning that they'll put money back on your Social Security to reimburse you for your Part B premium. So there's lots of benefits that you need to consider. And every single one of these plans has a different benefit. Some of them really go in on the dental, vision, hearing. Some of them really go in on the Part B giveback. Some of them really go in on the over-the-counter. So there's lots of different things that they that they may invest in, these different plans, and each one is trying to compete with the other on the benefits that they can provide you. Now, what you need to understand is that if a Medicare Advantage plan goes all in on one of those benefits, they're most likely pulling out on something else or backing off on something else. Let me give you an example. Maybe I do have a plan that has what we call a Part B give back, where they will put money back in your Social Security to reimburse you for your Part B premium. And sometimes we see those up to $175 a month, meaning they put $175 a month back on your Social Security check for a reimbursement of your Part B. However, that same plan most likely has a really high maximum out of pocket. Instead of having a $5,000 maximum out of pocket, it most likely does have a $9,500 maximum out of pocket. I can find a plan that has no Part B give back with a lower maximum out of pocket. And so I need to weigh those things. What's more important to me? The more bang for buck benefits or having that extra security on my maximum out of pocket in my medical spending potential? That's the things, those are the things that I need to consider. And the last thing here, the final thing here, last but not least, I need to consider premiums. Premiums. Typically, a Medicare Advantage plan is going to cost you $0 additional dollars. It's typically what they're going to cost you. That's all these plans typically. Now, I say typically because some of them do have premiums. And those premiums can be, we see up to around $120 a month. So some Medicare Advantage, some of them do have a premium up to $120. If a Medicare Advantage plan has a high premium like that, that is something I need to pay attention to. It needs to be well worth it. Most of these plans have the same kind of benefits that they're offering you. Some of the copays are going to be very similar. So it's going to be it's going to have the same experience. And if I'm going to get the same experience for $0 that I would for $120, then I certainly want to go with the option that's going to save me money. Now, on the other side of that is, maybe there is a plan that has a higher premium, and there may be a reason for that. Maybe it does have lower copays on hospital. We've seen plans that have $0 copays on hospital. That may be worth it to you to go and pay that premium. It may be worth it to you. So you certainly need to consider that on the premium side. What else you need to consider is that, and a lot of people, this is where they gripe on Medicare Advantage plans, they don't realize that you're still going to pay for your Part B premium. You're still going to pay for your Part B premium, and for 2026, that is $202.90. So for 2026, your Part B premium is $202.90, and you're going to pay that regardless of you enroll into a $0 plan or not. This is additional premium. So if I'm going Medicare Advantage plan, I'm still going to pay that $202.90 unless I have something that pays it for me. Maybe I have Medicaid that'll take care of it. Maybe I do have some kind of an employer benefit that pays my Part B premium. Or maybe I do enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan that has a Part B give back that would reimburse me most of that $202.90. So there you have it. These are the 4 things that you absolutely need to consider when shopping your Medicare Advantage plans: networks, maximum out of pockets, extra benefits, and premiums. I need to take a look at all those things. But most importantly, to never replace this, you need to talk to an educated individual, an agent, who knows what they're talking about and knows these plans, has the right contracts and the right knowledge and the right tools to put you in a plan that's going to give you a great experience. And I want to invite you one last time that if you would like to talk about your Medicare Advantage options or any Medicare options, you can do that today by following the information in the video description below. You can get in touch with one of our agents. Medicare is a journey. We're the compass. We want to help you.